Hey everyone, today I'm joined by Tim Kilroy, and this is a return visit. Tim is the founder of the WTF agency method and Build Your Agency Better. He has founded, scaled, and sold multiple agencies across 25 plus years in digital marketing, and now he coaches agency owners full time. In his first appearance, we dug into agency offers, discounts versus value, and the sales process. This time, we're going deeper into something Tim calls VVV, vibes, vision, and values. In a world where every agency website says the same thing, right? The agencies that win are the ones willing to show who they actually are, not a polished, sanitized version, but the real thing, rough edges included. In this episode, we discuss why decision timelines have doubled for agency buyers and what that signals, why sanitizing your personality costs you pipeline you can't even see, the difference between values on a website and values that actually activate buyers, and more. Lead gen is the hardest part of running an agency. For most, it's unpredictable, it's slow, and it's usually expensive. Gia flips that. It's the all-in-one growth platform that turns your existing relationships and client work into a steady pipeline. Gia automates lead gen, follow-up, and content, and it's all from the work you're already doing. You can check it out and get some free bonuses at getgia.ai/dynamic agency. And now, Tim Kilroy. It's easier than ever to start an agency, but it's only getting harder to stand out and keep it alive. Join me as we explore the strategies agencies are using today to secure a better tomorrow. This is Agency Forward. Man, welcome back to the show. I think the last time you were here, we were talking a lot about agency offers. Since then, what's changed? Have you seen any specific offers working better?
You know what has changed is speed. The speed of decision making has slowed way down. I think it has basically the time from hello to contract for most agencies has doubled. And that's almost offer independent. Because the issue is not the quality of the offer or the trust. It is the economic circumstance of most buyers. Mm-hmm. Additionally, there is for anybody who actually has an agency already and is considering a different agency, even if you don't love your agency, the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't. And so there's the big feeling of risk. Mm-hmm. So I think upfront offers work really well. Small thing to test. And they should be paid, but it should be understood that they are a test. It's not a guarantee of a long-standing relationship. It is just it's the date before you have the what are we conversation. Mm-hmm. So it's serious and real, but it's not committed yet. And I think there's a real fear of commitment on the part of most marketers these days, simply because things change so quickly. And unless you have a long-standing relationship, marketers are not sure that you are going to be able to adapt at the speed that the market is changing. Mm-hmm. They're pretty sure that they can't, but they know that. That's why they're talking to an agency, but they are concerned about making a commitment to a relatively unknown entity, because even if you have month to month or even day to day contracts, there's a switching cost. For the client. So they are going to this, and it's not about contractual terms. It is really about the emotional and reputational hit that they might take internally if they make a bad choice. And so I think in many respects, the cost of making a bad partner choice has never been higher. Not in terms of performance, but in terms of lost opportunity, lost momentum, or even perhaps in some respects, these things might be career limiting choices, depending upon how big a business you are.
Right. So, okay, I want to like state this back in a different way because I think this is a fascinating like conversation. So the speed of decisions has slowed while simultaneously the speed of action has increased, right? Like it's never been easier to get certain execution done. And so ideally every company is moving very fast, but if they move fast in the wrong direction, they're left behind very like they're in the dust, right?
Yes.
And so they need to ensure they're making the right decision to do that. So now, the risk is higher for who they're deciding to partner with.
Right, because if the market is moving at 60 miles an hour and you're moving at 30 miles an hour, but you're heading the same direction, you know how far behind you are. Mm-hmm. But if the market's moving in one direction at 60 miles an hour and you get an agency that moves you at 37 miles an hour, but 1 degree off course, you're now, even though you're moving faster, you are now further off course than you were before.
Right.
And I think that is the conundrum that marketers find themselves in.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the challenge for agencies is how do you reduce that risk in a way that they can, like the buyer actually feels like it's worth taking a shot with you.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of folks, it's a short, simple, upfront thing that allows you as an agency to show your value, and it gives your clients the trust that you are in fact flexible and are able to lead. I think very different if you are an agency that's selling the same thing to everybody. If you've got a one size fits all offer, I think I'm not sure that those agencies are prepared to thrive. With businesses that are prepared to thrive, I think those one size fits all agencies are likely they're selling to businesses that are in peril and are not going to be able to move as quickly as the market does. So even if you're landing those clients, I suspect that your engagement with them has a short expiration date, because if they can't move quickly enough, you can't help them regardless of how quickly you can move.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk vibes with this then. You've been talking a lot about it. How does this fit into the picture?
So vibes are kind of everything, because the only way, if you think about it directly, hiring an agency it's a black box, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone says the same things on their website. We're an extension of your team. We're data driven. We're focused on ROI, blah, 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 blah. And, for the most part, agency websites are pretty, and the people that talk about agencies are articulate, and everybody seems to know what they're doing, so everybody's the same. But exposing what it's like to work with you by talking about your day-to-day, talking about how you think about things, being yourself, being funny or serious or insightful or controversial or whatever, those are rough edges. By the way, I love your mug. It's
Thank you for everybody watching.
Yeah.
Every now and then the kids give me something good.
And I'm sure that you get more from your children than just good mugs, Christopher.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure I could.
Yeah, like you could probably dig something up. Yeah.
Right.
But I think the if you think about vibes as rough edges, like they're what people catch on to. You know, if you think about your vibes as, you know, you saying like here are my dangly bits, here are your dangly bits. If they connect, that's awesome. But the great thing about exposing vibes, and by vibes I truly mean being yourself, talking about how you think about things, you know, what's challenging, what's not challenging, you know, where you see things going, you know, where have they been, all that sort of stuff, like all the stuff that makes you good at what you do. You can't hide all that stuff on the other side of a contract, because you have to capture the interest and trust in order to get to the contract. So the vibes is so important because it allows those people with whom you are going to connect. And it's going to allow those people that you aren't going to connect with to ignore you, which is exactly what you want. You want the people you can work with to pay attention, and you want the people who you can't work with to just leave you alone. And this is different than a marketing campaign. It's different than a PR campaign. This is quite honestly, like this is the real definition of being authentic, not the UGC definition of authenticity, but really being authentic. You know, so here's a good for instance. You like no, this is good. Like it's super clear what it's like to work with you. You are organized, you are community and team focused, and you are not ever going to overpromise. And so I think the people who are going to respond to that do. And the people who just want to be told what to do and how to do it, they're not gonna vibe with you. You know, especially because you got that angry army haircut and
just trimmed it up.
Yeah, I mean you're looking high speed, low drag.
Haven't heard that term in a while.
That's what we used to say in the Navy. Get your haircut, high speed, low drag. Yeah. So I think that's really what it comes down to, is that this idea of vibes allows you to, put out the right bait without it being bait. Honestly, like it's real.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that is such a powerful, that is the most powerful form of marketing. On top of that, like, if we're gonna, I'm just gonna, analyze my own vibe. My own vibe is a little confrontational. I don't take anything too seriously. And I'm insistent that my clients think and try before they ask. Because I'll be honest, I don't know the right answer. I just know how to find the right answer. And that right answer changes with every client.
Right. So many variables.
Because there's stuff you're good at and stuff you're comfortable with, and then there's stuff you're not good at and stuff that you don't understand, but you think you understand. Like, it's helpful to have someone else look at all of that. But the people who want to be told exactly what to do, they're our relationships don't last very long.
Mm-hmm.
Or the people who want to be coddled,
yep,
don't last very long, because one of my clients once told me that working with me is like getting tough love from your funny uncle. And I think that fits, because
yeah, I would name you as having funny uncle energy. So
yeah,
that's good.
I have many nieces and nephews, and I am
Fit the bill.
yeah, I'm close to the top of the list, I'd say. I think the rich one is really the most popular, but whatever. That's because he's getting an advantage that I don't.
So. Market will shift. You can't buy your way in forever. So
well, he's been doing it for a long time, so I think like he's got it nailed down. Like, so he's got the process. Right. So I accept where I am. It's fine. Yeah.
All right.
in the family pantheon. But I think but I think when it comes right down to it, it's not about your offer or your technique or your result set. Any good relationship between an agency and a client comes down to the prospect or client feeling like you understand them and they understand you. And if you're a black box, or you cannot allow your client enough space and grace to be a little bit vulnerable about what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they're struggling with, then you are destined to be a transactional agency. Yeah. And transactional agencies are you're the only way to thrive as a transactional agency is to have client acquisition that exceeds churn by a big enough amount.
Right.
Because if you're transactional, as soon as the contract is done, tick tock, right. The churn is coming. You just have to, you have to race ahead of it.
Yeah. So I want to share a story that supports what you just said. I think this is perfect. When I was running an agency, we had one client who they're in an emerging market, and apologies to any podcast guests who've heard this story before. I always get annoyed when I like binge listen to episodes of other shows and they keep telling the same story. It's like, but anyway, it's worth it.
If it's a good story, like,
yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, they're emerging market. We were trying to we generally leaned into like SEO as the solution. Mm-hmm. But even if we had won every single keyword for them, they would have had like a couple hundred people showing up on their site.
Yeah.
Right? Not enough to actually do business. And so we were trying to do other things, figure this out. And it was months. It was probably a full quarter at least of like no traction. And so I actually went to the client and said, hey, I'm sorry, like we're not the right fit for you. Like we can't figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on. But you should probably find another agency who can actually help you here. And their response was like, look, we trust you. Like if we go start with another agency, they're figuring it out from scratch. Because of how you guys show up, we believe that you're doing everything you can to learn this. And right now there is no other agency that understands us the way that you do. And so they stuck with us. And a couple months later, things just clicked and it worked and their business took off. But had we delayed that, right, and they went to a different agency, they would have been restarting and they may have never hit that point with their business.
Yeah.
And so it's just really interesting, like vibes paid off in this moment.
Yeah. I have two clients. One is Akadaka and the other is Digital Wave. And they both sport relationships that span over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Cuckoo. Totally cuckoo. I mean, that's and it's not as if the businesses that they've had these decade-long relationships with have not had options or opportunities to work with other people. It's not like they are trapped somehow.
Mm-hmm.
These are businesses that stay because it's the right place to stay. And I think and for both of these agencies, um, they are people that that create that level of trust, and and they just like you said, when they don't know how to do something, they'll say like, we don't know how to do this, we can figure it out, or we can help you find a resource. And almost invariably the client says, no, okay, you do it, go ahead. Like we're we are so invested here, like we cannot imagine running our business without you. And that's extraordinary. When that lasts for over 10 years, holy guacamole. That's just that's bizarro.
Yeah, doing something right.
Yeah, and I think there's two other pieces that go along with that. You've got to have those vibes in order to get to the relationship. But throughout the course of your relationship, you also have to be sharing your vision and your values. And vision isn't, prognosticating the future. I mean, it is a little bit, but it's about being able to express what you think is going to happen next and why, and showing your market and your clients that you have a path to get there, that, you are far enough ahead of them in this particular arena that they can trust you as a guide, even if the destination changes, that you are continuing to invest in your growth so that you can help them generate their growth. And that is so crucial, because there is this baked in, you understand us thing. And also, as you talked about, but there's also the baked in, like, we know what it's like to work with you. And everybody hates change. Like, nobody likes change. They can pretend they do. David Goggins pretends he likes change, and challenges and all that sort of stuff. No, he doesn't. Like, his world is very narrow. Like, you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to do it. But if someone were to say to David Goggins, you are so freaking amazing, like, take the day off, do you think he could do that? No, because he wouldn't know who he is. And so people don't like change because it threatens their boundaries. Not their boundaries. It threatens their identity.
Yeah.
And so vibes get you connected. Vision allows you to mitigate the threat of change. And then the last thing is your values. And values is twofold. One is the economic value. Can you prove that what you do is worth more than you get paid to do it? Shockingly, many agencies fail miserably at this. Especially the folks who do web dev or who are doing CRM and automation stuff, or folks in SEO or CRO. It's really, really challenging to be able to show that value, because it's not single variable. It's multivariable calculus, and depending upon where you're standing, those variables have different weights.
Right.
But in order to maintain the relationship and honor the trust that you've created and the leadership that you've expressed, you've got to show the goods. I'm pretty sure that we'll talk about the Army for a second. That Douglas MacArthur would not have been able to rally the troops if he said, "I have the plan, I've got the discipline. You don't have any food." If he couldn't deliver the goods, he's like, I have the plan, I have the discipline, but I've got nothing for you. I'm not sure that he would be celebrated as a true military leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. Do you know that book? Yeah. It's you got to bring the goods. And if you were assuming a client leadership position, you better have a way to show that you're bringing the goods.
Mm-hmm.
Parallel to that, every interaction you have with the client is an opportunity to show your values, and not like the namby-pamby corporate values, like we believe in the dignity of humans and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Nobody believes any of that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to show your values just as you expressed in your story. If you're not pulling your weight, you show up and say, hey, we're not doing the thing that you need. Mm-hmm. And that showed that, your agency had such a high integrity value that you were not tempted to say, hey, like we are, giving you all these keywords. You were like, this is like this. We're not getting the traction we expect.
Right.
And so it's both showing the economic value and your emotional values. And because we live in a weird time, sometimes those values are political.
Yep. Actually, that came up on a sales call recently where the agency just happened. A majority of their clients are all on one side of the party line.
Yep.
And they're like, "Are you okay working with us because of this?" It's interesting that this would be like a question asked from the prospect in a sales conversation. But that stuff is actually happening there. And
it matters. I have a former client he's a terrific guy. I really like him. And he is as far right as I am far left. Mm-hmm. And we have these spirited debates via Instagram DM because my Instagram is full of, left-wing Bernie Sanders AOC stuff. And his is full of America stuff, and that's just not my jam these days. But we are comfortable with the fact that the other, in this particular arena, thinks that the person on the other side of the discussion is an idiot. I think we're like, he's an idiot. I know he's told me that I'm an idiot too, so I'm comfortable with that. But and so he faces that a lot, and he chooses to mostly work with businesses that share his values, because he doesn't hide them. And the great thing is that for the businesses for whom that is important, they love him. Like, that puts him ahead of so many other people.
Right.
And now, conversely, it also puts him behind in certain circumstances, but he doesn't care.
Wouldn't want to work with them anyway.
Exactly. So it's so interesting that, that's his vibe. That's also his values. And so those things are often the same. And I don't think you should shy away from them. Trying to be beige or taupe is unexciting for everybody.
Right. I think it does a couple things too. First, this is a great way to kind of make positioning more accessible, right? Where like when we talk positioning, it's like this big grandiose kind of term.
Jobs to be done, and quadrants and slots. Yes, and
that's, when we break it down, It's your vibes, vision, values. Like ultimately, that is it. Because if you have a certain set of values, like it's going to influence your vibes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your vision is going to be influenced by that as well. And then you're going to show up in a certain way. So now it's not just a message on your, like the headline on your website. It's like, no, people are actually going to see me showing up this way. And so like,
Yeah.
so it truly is like a
Yeah.
positioning.
I know an agency owner who was, I don't know that he was necessarily part of, but he participated vociferously in the blackout day in Minneapolis.
Mhm.
He's headquartered in Minneapolis, that was impacting him, and so he took a stand and promoted that. Truly, like, blacked out his website and also blacked out his LinkedIn for that particular day, and I haven't followed up with him, so I do not know that it generated any new business for him. But I know that it allowed people to see him differently.
Mhm.
Because before that, he was, in many respects, Yaffa. Yet another fucking agency. Right? The ones that say we're an extension of your team,
Right.
And I know that people paid attention to that because he demanded that they do.
Right.
And that is positioning.
Mhm.
Like, positioning, even though I when we go through jobs to be done or, all that sort of stuff, or, that's kind of academic, right? That's like
Mhm.
that's an intellectual framework from which you are supposed to extract an emotionally resonant message. But sometimes it's faster to start with the message and then back into
Mhm.
the framework. And I
Right.
think in a lot of respects, vibes, vision, and values is, in fact, it's message first, framework second. Even though, like, I have built a framework with my clients to expose vibes, vision, and value. Like, we do leadership interviews, we do client
Mhm.
interviews, and then we extract stories from our clients and their clients, and we create something that is, in fact, a framework, but it all starts out with the actual feelings, emotions, and impact that they have had.
Mhm.
And I think it's just it is a much more accessible way to approach positioning, and it stops you from saying something like, our clients have a 7.6 return on ad spend, blah blah, which is totally meaningless. It's like, it's what's the difference between 240 horsepower and 243 horsepower? I don't know. Do you?
Nope.
I mean, three is the difference. What does that mean?
Right.
Nobody knows. Not even the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one other benefit that I want to capture here is like when you are leading with the vibes, it makes it much easier to create like the business, the agency that doesn't feel like when you leave home in the morning, you're just going to work. It's like it's an extension of your life because you actually get to show up the way you want to there.
Yes.
And so now you're not dreading Mondays as much because it's just you. Like you're right. It's a like a bigger it's like this enterprise around you.
Yeah.
And so now you don't have to have all these regrets of like, well, I go to work and I'm miserable here because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, yeah, but that's you, like your personality that should be coming through.
Yeah. And also, as a side benefit, it makes client acquisition easier because,
Mm-hmm.
the clients who are interested are interested. It also makes talent acquisition easier because people don't want to work in a place. I mean, some people do, but most people don't want to work in a place that feels sterile.
Mm-hmm.
They want to work in a place where they think like, fuck yeah, like I love the people I work with, and and it can be a little bit easier to find people who are similarly passionate if you don't hide what your passions are.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Yeah. And
with that, let's start winding down here.
All right. Yeah. Cause we blabbed a long time and I was late.
Yeah.
Because Riverside is smarter than I am.
It'll get you like that.
It will. And I'm a doddering old fool. So
just know you're the fun uncle.
Right.
So last I asked you, I've asked you this question before, but since it's been, I don't know, almost a year and a half since we've been on a podcast together, what book do you recommend every agency owner should read?
What book? So there's a couple. One, if you're thinking about selling, actually I have it right here. My friend David Baker's. We can't see it because of.
I can pull it up,
but it's selling a professional service firm, and also because I think David Baker honestly he's like the smartest dude in the space. Like he really is. The other one I think that is really worth reading or rereading if you haven't is another David Baker book, The Business of Expertise. Mm-hmm. These books are terrific.
Yeah. And I've read them. Definitely worth reading.
Yeah. And also, and I think you've had David on your podcast. Yep. He's just he and I have only spoken, I think, once, but I read every newsletter he sends out. I look at every LinkedIn post. He's awesome.
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean,
David, if you're listening to this, hear us. We think you're great.
Yes. And also this book, this is autographed right there. It says all my best, nice. And so that's the David C. Baker Fanboy Association. We can call this meeting. We can adjourn this meeting, but all
right.
Yeah, it is. He's terrific and very thoughtful. And if you need to remember how to think about what you're doing, both of those, to start and refine it, The Business of Expertise is fantastic. And if you're thinking about trying to maximize your exit, selling your professional service firm is killer.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. All right. Last question. Where can people find you?
TimKilroy.com or agencyinnercircle.com. That's my newsletter that goes out twice a week. Join 8,000 folks from big giant agencies, tiny little agencies, Google, Facebook. We've got HubSpot. People from all over are part of this, and I would love for you to join because, my fragile ego needs the boost, man. Let's just be honest. Like that's what it is.
Yeah. Cheers. I feel you. But we'll get that linked up in the show notes so that people can find it quickly as well. And Tim, thanks for joining again.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. And I must say, I just want to compliment you. You are as a fellow agency advisor, consultant, coach person, you are extraordinarily generous with your time and your insight. And the fact that inside of your community, you have agency advisor. And if you are an agency coach or consultant and you're not part of Chris's private little group where we talk shit about each other and about clients, no, rarely, well, okay, sometimes, but it's, I so appreciate your investment in community.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's I enjoy doing it. So, all right, that's a wrap.
And go Bluey.
That's the show, everyone. You can leave a rating and review, or you can do something that benefits you. Click the link in the show notes to subscribe to Agency Forward on Substack. You'll get weekly content, resources, and links from around the internet to help you drive your agency forward.